Hi friends, welcome to Marriage Realities. Today we are going to see about the 6 bad manners in your marriage. Are you wondering what manners has got to do with a happy marriage? Manners are for outside people. You're sure about it, aren't you? Having a protocol about my behavior towards my spouse makes my relationship stilted and artificial, you argue. This is the reason you pay scant attention to manners in your married life. You just want to sail through your marriage without thinking about the basic manners it needs. Do you know that when you depict bad manners before your spouse, it causes unwanted irritation and annoyance between you? I'm sure you wouldn't agree to what I'm saying. You confirm that you have the right to be your true self with your spouse, and that there is absolutely no need to pay any attention to your manners. This is the sad aspect of most marriages, allowing it to slip into mediocrity. It is true that you must be your true self with your spouse. But does this mean you can completely disregard your manners with your spouse? After being married for a few years, you get so used to living with your spouse that you easily slip into a comfortable mode of coexistence, and comfort to you means being inattentive towards your habits and manners. Most of you think that you must watch out for your manners only with others and not with your spouse. How wrong can you be? When you display bad manners in your relationship, unknowingly you stop attracting your spouse. When you continuously display lack of basic manners before your spouse is no longer drawn to you. Your bad manners make your spouse feel edgy towards you. It robs the element of attraction from your marriage. Attraction towards each other is an important ingredient of a happy marriage. Before marriage, you wanted to attract your spouse at any cost. You dress neatly, you behave faultlessly, you literally attracted your spouse like a magnet. But after your marriage, you throw your manners to the winds as you no longer care about the way you behave, the way you dress, and totally about your habits. I'm sorry to say that you're taking your spouse for granted. You feel your spouse should feel attracted to you in spite of your not so good manners. Now, shall we look at the 6 lack of manners you commonly display in your married life? Number 1, you become unkempt and shabby. After a few years of marriage, you let go your appearance as you get yourself into a comfort mode with your spouse. And comfort to you is roaming around without caring about your grimy appearance. And it's outrageous that looking presentable is always linked to a wife, as though a husband has the privilege of looking grubby and dirty before his wife. Lots have been said about how a woman should look presentable before her husband. This is pure injustice to your wife. Your wife has every right to expect you to look good. Taking care of your appearance shows that you still want to attract your spouse. Naturally, your spouse likes you for it. Both should look good and presentable when at home. It does not mean you should always be glammed up. Taking bath daily, wearing fitting clothes, and maintaining your hair is just enough for you to look good. And it does not take much time. Do it at least from now onwards. Your personal habits make your spouse look away. You yawn loudly, you eat noisily, you scratch yourself vigorously without caring about the irritating look of your spouse. Pick your nose before your spouse, thinking nothing about it. Of course, your spouse will not hate you for these bad habits, but definitely your spouse will feel highly annoyed and irritated. You smell sweaty and sticky. You strew your personal things around, scantily caring for the exasperated look your spouse gives you. Such unpleasant habits, aren't they? Do such unpleasant habits destroy your marriage? Of course, it wouldn't. But it makes your spouse feel jittery and jumpy. Well, the above 2 manners in married life pertains to your appearance and your personal habits. Etiquette in marriage does not stop at this. It relates to your attitude towards your spouse also. So here goes. Number 3, comparing your spouse. Who likes comparison? I don't like anyone to compare me with others. So do you. But in married life, comparing your spouse with others has become a common occurrence. You pass snide remarks about the personal appearance of your spouse. You're unaware that your spouse harbors resentment against you because of this. Comparing the talent of your spouse with that of your colleagues or your friends is also bad manners in marriage. While husband compares his wife with his most svelte female colleagues or friends, wife mostly compares her husband with the most successful friends or relatives. Both ways it's wrong. The end product of such comparison is almost always anger and resentment. Number 4. Taking your spouse for granted. It is pure bad manners when a husband watches his wife slog along with her never-ending household chores without even a thought of helping her. After all, it's a duty, he tells himself. But you never understand that your wife is fuming inwardly about your laziness. Wife thinks that her husband belongs only to her. She forgets that he has duty towards his parents. Your husband is a nervous wreck when his family visits him, because mostly you're cold and distant with them. But your husband dare not open his mouth as he knows you will lash out at him. Such is the bad manners you depict in your married life without really understanding its devastating impact. Number 5. Snooping at your spouse. Going through the things of your spouse is complete lack of etiquette. You forget that your spouse has right towards some sort of a privacy. Checking the mobile phone of your spouse is another bad manner. Asking doubting questions about the loyalty of your spouse is plain bad manners. Having unwanted peep into the social media activities of your spouse has devastating impact in your married life in these modern days. Being addicted to social media when at home and completely ignoring the presence of your spouse is absolute bad manners. Number 6. Some more bad habits you depict unknowingly. Making sex your bargaining ground is yet another devastating form of bad manners in your married life, which could wreck your marital happiness really bad. Poisoning your children against your spouse is bad manners which make your family life wretched and unhappy. Looking elsewhere when your spouse is talking with you is downright bad manners. When you go out with the opposite sex without the knowledge of your spouse, it's plain bad manners. Not apologizing for the wounding words you uttered during your arguments with your spouse is complete lack of manners. When you roam about as if nothing had happened, it is only natural that your spouse fumes and frets in helpless anger. Interfering into the personal space of your spouse is one of the most hated bad manners. Trying to change your spouse according to your liking is also bad manners. Spending hours in the mobile phone without communicating with their spouse is a common bad etiquette most couples indulge in. Ignoring the emotional needs of your spouse is yet another form of avoidable bad manners. Venting your anger and frustration on your spouse is yet another bad manners your relationship does not need. Now for the conclusion. Can you see how you feel you can take all sorts of rights with your spouse? This is a mistake most couples make. Can you act and behave as you please with your colleagues? Of course you cannot. You follow certain manners to have an amicable work atmosphere. But sadly, you follow no such manners at home. This causes unwanted irritation and annoyance in your relationship. Can you now see that you drastically need certain decency in your married life also? It takes two of you for any good things to happen in your marriage. The goodness you feel about your marriage is often related to the way you behave with your spouse. So I think it's time you embedded some sort of good manners into your married life. I'm sure you enjoyed this angle of marriage reality. There are many more to come. Subscribe to this channel and understand your marriage better. Press the bell icon and get updated with more making your marriage work ideas. Thank you.